I'll take the lot. Excellent. Well, there you are.
It's going again.
What even was that crazy pedal that we started with there?
Oh man, it's a new Walrus Audio SLO with the 2 dots, which I believe is like like an like a, so it's Swedish or something.
Well,
slu.
If that comes out,
Slow.
how it sounded in the room, that was wicked.
That was it.
And,
New Gibson. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, and welcome to the very first video, other than our live stream, where Pete and I will attempt to take you through the first new range of guitars released since the new Gibson management team were installed. JC, Cesar, and all the good people at Gibson. Some from before, some are new, but I think everyone's excited and re-energized, and that is the most important thing.
It's the most important thing.
So, hey, let's dispel the sort of, they haven't invented a new shape or come up with a new model or anything like that. This is very much just a getting back to what the customers wanted.
No, how dare they?
Which is making a Les Paul standard. That is how all the forums and the bulk of the customers have been asking for it to be made.
How your granddad played it, or your grandma. So,
yes, if you've not subscribed to Andertons TV before, please like and subscribe these videos, assuming you do like them.
Hit the bell for notifications, which is really important.
Absolutely. This will be the first video in a sequence. So these are the Les Paul standards. Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to see all the other Les Pauls in the range, the SGs, the Firebirds, the Vs, the Explorers. Basically, if there's a new guitar in the range, we will shoot it. Anyway, can we talk about your guitar, Mr. Peter?
We can talk about this. It's the one with the P90s in it.
Yeah.
It's the 50s, right? So there's 50s, there's 60s, and how sort of to tell how I could tell the difference when they came in, just by looking quickly, is the tuners.
Yes.
Because that's what kind of jumps out to me. Going, this is visually. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is visually a 50s, this is visually a 60s.
Yeah.
And then there's loads of little bits and pieces on the guitar, sort of the neck size and the pickups. Let
me take them through this.
Yes, so, 3. Gold shot.
The first thing to understand, if you've been a fan of Gibson for a long time, is that for the last 5 to 10 years, what Gibson, under the old ownership structure, wanted to do was to take the Les Paul Standard as the flagship model in the range and put it with all the kind of the bells and whistles and the new stuff they were experimenting with and inventing. And so, of course, some years you had the robot tuners, which not many people really liked. But, you had other things like the Access heel joint, and you had the zero nut and all kinds of stuff, which in themselves weren't bad ideas. But that was what they were doing. It was like, if it was new and funky, it would go on the Standard. If it was a throwback to like an old 50s Les Paul, it would be the traditional.
Yeah.
Thank you. No,
thank you.
That's fine. I don't think we ever really got to the point where people were happy about that, because I think people said, no, the Les Paul Standard is the model that I want from the 50s and the 60s kind of vibe. And I want a traditional, I want a standard. Yeah. So Gibson have listened, and the new range now, if you want the bells and whistles thing, I think is going to take a back seat for a while. There is a guitar in the range called the Les Paul Modern, which has some of the bells and whistles on.
The cutaway in the back.
Yeah, we'll cover that. But the Les Paul Standard now, the new Les Paul Standard, very much takes over from where the traditional left off, but with changes, some changes.
Good changes, well, I think, personally.
The most importantly good change, which I think is Gibson making a boom, here we go, and thank you for bearing with us, Mr. Customer, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. The cool thing is the Les Paul, any one of these guitars in this room for this video, these Gibson guitars here, the retail price has gone down. Hey, how many times have we ever actually said that on a new Gibson release range? So these are 19.99 English pounds.
Yes.
Not sure what they are in euros and dollars.
$24.99 in dollars.
Yeah, it has globally gone down.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah.
We shall start with Pete's guitar.
Yes.
Because that is kind of how the Les Paul. That is the sort of the early Les Paul. So if you go back to the very earliest Les Pauls, like a 52 Les Paul, wouldn't have looked that dissimilar to that, other than a very different kind of tailpiece.
Yes, wraparound tape, maybe the thing and the wraparound.
But certainly by the sort of mid 50s, that's kind of what a Les Paul would have looked like. Would have been gold, would have had P90s on it, would have had a two-piece bridge and tailpiece.
Mahogany not stained red like the other ones are. It's just the natural colour of it. With your Gibson Deluxe tuners, tulip up there.
No weight relief. So
no
again,
weight relief, so it's a Gibson.
It's a Gibson.
Yeah.
I will say our lovely people in our photographic team, who they will be taking pictures of every single individual guitar and weighing every individual guitar. So if you're thinking to yourself, what does that mean then if a Les Paul doesn't have weight relief? How does each model compare? You know, are there still ones that are a bit lighter than others? Absolutely, dive on over to our website, just check each individual listing and you'll see weights and photos.
Yeah. And if there's one you like, the look of the grain or the top or whatever, you got to like that one. Oh, it's a bit tricky, I'll take that one or whatever.
And then you can buy you get to buy the actual serial number one that you like. Anyway, so this is a slightly unique model. It's only available in this one color. It is only available with the 50s standard spec. So I'll talk a little bit about the 50s neck and the 50s machine heads and stuff like that. But it comes with these great sounding P90s. So
yeah, it sounds lovely.
If you want to give us a little blast.
I could do quickly and see what we are in the V40 Deluxe. So it's the 140 Deluxe. Keep it going. So that's the neck. See what I mean? That's just a Gibson with no.
It's a Gibson.
Sounds great. Sounds great. What am I running here? Oh, everything more or less at 12.
No pedals and everything at 12.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Let's go with these two in the middle there. The back. Oh, that becomes very
quacky.
Spank quacky. Maybe that needs a bit of gain from the Dane. What is that? It is that kind of stratty kind
It is
of tone.
stratty, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
Now, what you're going to get on the 50s models, and there are some versions with humbuckers and in bursts, but across the 50s models, you are going to get solid mahogany body, gold, maple top,
Yes.
rosewood fretboard. The neck on the 50s is the chunkier feel. I wouldn't say it's... I have a 58 custom shop reissue guitar. The neck on that is even chunkier still.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those chunky necks where players go, oh no, too much for me. But it's like, it's the little bit extra that, you know, some people prefer.
Yeah, it's not it's not grabbing it like this. It's not the big fat chunky 50 neck.
Yeah.
It's not.
No. A lot of people have said on a live stream that we did, so how does it compare to like a Fender? And I don't actually think it is like gigantically different. If you have a very early 50s reissue Fender Strat, you are going to have the fatter neck, more like the 50s style one. If you have any kind of Fender with a modern C-shaped neck on it, it's going to feel, not a dissimilar depth to the 60s neck on a Les Paul.
Is this different is that different from that?
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Let me just, I'm just going to jump over anyway, because I want to just see.
Yeah, well look, so, you had, as Pete was saying before, you have the Clusen style vintage tuners, which you don't get on the 60s one. Well, it's good that we've gone over to the one with the humbuckers now, because that's the kind of that's the other difference between the 50s and the 60s, is the 50s Les Paul has the burst bucker 1 and 2, and the 60s has a burst bucker 61, which in layman's terms is a little bit hotter. So 50s spec, think a little bit more open and boozy and less likely to give your amp a kick in the balls, and the 60s just going to poke it a little bit more.
This is my favourite colour.
I noticed the other thing as well, the knobs are different on the 60s to the 50s.
Yeah.
I'm told some of the other changes, by the way, that have transitioned from the old Les Paul traditional, the bridge and tail piece of the ABRS1 as opposed to the Nashville set, that's the ABRS stuff is what they would have traditionally only used on custom shop. And little things like I remember was fortunate to meet JC and Cesar earlier this year. And Cesar was kind of like, he was obsessing about
He's a cool
detail.
dude, man. I like him.
And he was talking about really just getting that the width of the headstock just right, so it wasn't like almost like an old guitar. It was as close as they could humanly get it.
But that's been changed through the times as well. With the 70s, I remember having my 70s are very sharp. The 80s like very sharp.
The binding around the body is just a little bit thinner, trying to get it again sort of period correct. He really struck me when I met him as the kind of guy that, if the team said, well, it's 99% right, he'd be just like,
yeah,
make it 100% right.
Not good enough.
They're supposed to be AA flame tops. That's what the spec says. That's what the website says. But we've got a mix really of guitars that probably have got that slightly more understated AA flame on it, and ones with loads of flame.
Yeah, that one's got loads of flame.
Again, dive on over to the Andertons website if you're in shopping mode, because you can actually see photographs of all the individual guitars that we've got. Or come to the store. Hey, why not go totally old school? Do like they had to do in the 50s and 60s and actually visit
to the store.
A music store.
And I've noticed they haven't like they've done before, made in 2018, 2017. That's all gone away. There's just a serial number at the top.
So I'm glad you said that, because this obsession with changing out the range every year, which has what we've sort of all dealt with over the last 6 or 7 years previously, is gone. Thank goodness, because it was very difficult to manage, I think, both as a retailer and as a customer, to go, well, so where am I? Is this the current range? Is this last year's range? Is the one I'm going to buy going to be superseded in 2 months' time? It's like,
Well, people would wait. It's like license plate, number plates in the UK. People wait for 6 months to get the newest license plate, even though it's going to be the same car. I'm going, what?
So that's gone now.
Obsession.
This range, it is not the 2019 range, it's not the 2020 range, it's not an anything. It's just
the new
Les Paul standard.
Yeah, Les Paul standard.
And it's great. So let's hear some of the...
Mighty sweet it is. So these are the burst bucker 1 and 2.
1 at the neck, 2 at the bridge, and I believe the 2 is designed to be a little bit pokier.
1 at the neck, 2 at the bridge.
I don't listen to enough people playing Les Pauls clean. People think of all the high gain guys, don't they, using Les Pauls?
It's such a
great
lovely
guitar.
tone, isn't it? Both pickups together. Pick up the bridge pickup.
If we could experiment a little here, Pete, one of the other changes that I think everyone is glad to see the back of is there's no pulley things,
Thank
on
you.
a Les Paul Standard anymore. And one of the things that Gibson brought in over the last few years was this idea of pre-wired kind of knobs on a circuit board that you could just drop into the back of the Gibson, and it had dip switches on as well that you could change stuff on if you like. It's like,
It's all too much.
These are now just ye olde fashioned CTS pots with orange drop capacitors on them.
Yeah.
I have heard though, if you want to just experimente, someone at Gibson was telling me that they have tried to make sure that the pots that they're using have got a nice linear. So it's not like you turn it down and nothing happens and then all the volume goes.
Well,
in the last.
let's try
So
that.
let's
Please.
just
I
see
mean,
if
it's
that's
an
a
E
sort of-
chord on the neck.
Yeah.
And you can hear the birds in the background.
You can actually. So
Very nice. But that's very important if you
There's
like, if John Bonamassa uses
I was
a
just
lot of
about to
this.
say there's a guitarist magazine video of Joe Bonamassa that's had like about 1 billion views.
Gazillions.
And it's basically Joe Bonamassa going, look, why does everybody buy pedals and everything like that? It's just before you buy your first pedal, plug your Les Paul into your cranked up valve amplifier and find the 60,000 different sounds that you've got. I'll spray that again. Find the 60,000 different sounds that you've got just by adjusting the volume and the tone controls.
Yeah.
Try it with gain. I hear Joe Bonamassa does tend to back the
Back it
volume
off.
down to give the amp more bloom.
So let's see what here's just like the Dane on medium or like
Yeah.
mid kind of thing. Maybe that works when you are in a cranked amp.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's a different
sound.
Yeah, I mean,
That was all I was trying to sort
think-
of say. It's just experiment.
I think
see
if
what
you
your
have the
sounds
amp
are.
and it's cranked up
Yes.
to, and then I think that's the,
Probably a more
with the pedal
noticeable
you can put
difference.
another, I can use a black box 2 overdrive into the Dane. You want that? It's just fun. It's great.
It's a great guitar,
just
isn't
great.
it?
It's just great.
So
It looks great.
Have a quick look.
Very
now,
shiny.
A little sweep over or a quick look at the colour options that you get on the 50s model. So Pete has got the Heritage Cherry colour, which, if I'm honest with you, I always think is the classic Gibson colour.
Yeah, that's the factory burst, isn't it? I think they call that on some other guitars.
Right, and that's certainly Bernie Marsden's Beast would have been more that colour on day one, and it's just faded and faded and faded. However,
fade away in the sunshine.
I am not, my opinion isn't the only important one in the world.
Is it not?
No. And many people think that the Tobacco Burst, which is this one, is the kind of classic Gibson.
So my first Gibson was that.
And when I see this, I think of guys like Slash, I guess, playing that kind of Tobacco Burst.
Yep.
So Tobacco Burst or Heritage Cherry Sunburst are the two burst colours on the 50s that you can get. And the other colour is a straightforward gold top. So same guitar with a gold top.
And
Do you know
the gold top with the P90?
According to Paul Reed Smith, he says that the reason Gibson guitars in the early days were only solid colours, so black and gold, was to prevent their competitors finding out that they were using a maple and mahogany kind of sandwich of woods, because they were so that's what made the sound, and they were so worried that someone might find it and copy it. But hey, I might be wrong. Anyway, shall we jump over to the 60s?
Yes. Why don't you play some?
Well, let's keep it all through your amp, and then I'll maybe have a noodle at the end. I mean, I do have a particularly fine example of a 60s.
Yes, but you keep hold of that.
This is
pretty.
So there are three bursts on the 60s. You've got Bourbon Burst,
Bourbon
or Bourbon. I never
know.
Bourbon
Burst.
Bourbon Burst. Which I'm pretty sure is the one that Pete's got. You've got
the iced tea.
Iced tea. I was thinking, what is the other one? Iced tea.
It's the rapper burst.
Is this one, a little bit browner, and then those clever marketing people at Gibson, or someone in their clever department, has decided that instead of calling it Sunburst, no, let's drop the S. Let's call it Unburst.
Maybe it's a spelling mistake.
Maybe it's a spelling mistake.
You're on the website, someone going, quick, get them up.
This is, I guess, an example perhaps of how a burst might fade over time.
It's glorious.
In other words, it's unbursted itself. I love this.
I don't know.
I absolutely love this colour.
It is beautiful.
But hey, I don't dislike any of the colours.
No. I mean, this is not VOS, is it? It's just all shiny bling bling.
All shiny bling bling.
Yeah, shiny bling bling. So here's the Grover tuners.
Yes.
Which are on the 60s. Like I said in the beginning, visually that's how I can tell. So here's the. So these are the
Burst Bucket 61s. These should be a little bit hotter.
Okay, well we'll find out. Do it in E chord again. It's definitely hotter.
Feels hotter.
I'd say.
Okay.
They feel
a little
hotter.
Bit pokier.
And the neck feels slightly slimmer as well. Actually, it feels quite a lot slimmer.
I find it's got almost like a little flat.
It's almost flat
at the back, hasn't it?
Almost flat at the back.
Yeah. So it's not so much again that the 50s one feels more roundy, and the 60s one kind of goes roundy at the edges and a little flatter at the back. That's kind of how I feel it. But hey, you should go and check these out.
Yeah, it's a trial.
This is not a new thing, by the way. This is, I'm talking almost like Gibson have just invented this. It's not a new thing. There have been many guitars.
What is this new guitar from this company called Gibson?
They call it these neck profiles in the past.
Or is it Les Paul?
A little bit fatter, a little bit thinner. That's all you need to know.
I'm in my own tremolo. A bit,
jazz chord.
Both together. Yes.
That's massively growing on me, that colour.
It is.
Cool.
There's something that it feels very slinky in the when I'm like.
Well, I'm guessing that these are strung with tens.
Yeah,
but
I'm
of course,
not quite sure.
you know, people who are perhaps considering getting their first Les Paul and have always played Strats or Tellys or other brands of guitars before. The Les Paul, a lot of Gibson guitars are a very slightly shorter scale length from here to here. So when you tune it up to pitch, the strings have a slightly slinkier, looser feel on them compared to other guitars.
Yeah, they would be tens on here, wouldn't it?
Could we? Could you pass us a case, please? Here's the case. Anybody that's owned a Les Paul, anybody that bought a Les Paul in like the 90s, which is probably when Pete and I first saw them.
95.
This was the kind of case you used to get. Brown on the outside, big Gibson logo, sort of gold brass coloured latches.
That's exactly what I have.
There's no memory lock code thing. I think the one I had one of those things with the little, and you'd always forget the 3-digit code on it like that.
Yeah, I just took mine off like with a screwdriver because it's always annoying.
Inside though, it's a little redder than I was thinking it was going to be. I always remember them as being either cream or pink.
Pink, and with the blanket. With the blanket, I got that case in here. Somewhere.
You know what we need to do? Hashtag bring back the blanket.
Bring back the pink blanket.
Bring that's a campaign now. I shall be campaigning.
Make these cases pink and put the blanket on there.
So Mark Agnesi, if you're watching, hashtag bring back the blanket. That was such a cool thing. Do you remember that? Literally, it was
I've got the case in there. I would dig it out if it wasn't in the
silk,
back.
Wasn't it?
It was silky and quite thick.
Yeah.
It was quite thick, so we put it on top of it, like, oh, when you lifted it.
Oh, look. A Gibson strap. One assumes that they all come with that.
Sniff it. Is it leather?
No, I don't think so. Well, it might be. Can you smell it? It smells...
Oh, it smells of...
like a glue. You can just smell the...
It's the hide, yeah.
What else we got in here? We got a little... Oh, we got a little black... Gibson bag of joy.
Yeah, it's a bag of weed.
Can't even see what's in here. Feels like there's a tool. Feels like there's like a multi-tool in there. And you know what is super cool on Gibson stuff nowadays, which they've been doing for a little while. Look,
I like that.
Here's a picture of your actual guitar going through final QC at Gibson.
Instead of feeling it, Lee, why don't I just open it up? It's a Ziploc bag.
Oh, was it Ziploc? I didn't want to tear anything.
So there you go, a little Gibson multi-tool there for all your... Oh, it's got the little knot adjustment in there.
Oh, fantastic.
What?
That's cool.
That's the one you always are looking for when you take it off and you go, who's got one of those?
Who wants to know what We Sweat the Details is in, I'm guessing, German and maybe Spanish and another language?
So
Italian. What do you think they are? So what do you think of We Sweat the Details? Perfection bis in letzter Detail. I would go a bit aggressive with my German accent.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
So there we are. A lovely...
the gentle people.
Oh, and...
That's in case, yes, but maybe because if you don't want anything on there...
Was it like, is there some sort of story like in the early days before there was anything other than a Les Paul Standard? Did you just have a blank... I don't know why, you got like a blank truss rod cover in there.
Well, that's a cool thing.
Or you can make a nice earring out of it like that.
Or you can hang it in your belly button or your...
Wow, yes, let's not go there, Prince Albert.
Hey, on your horse.
So nice case. This is free, or included in the price.
Oh, it is. It does sound great. It does sound great. It feels great. I must admit, personally, I probably prefer the feel of the 50s neck.
Well,
that's a little bit more girth for me.
I think that's going to be a big topic. Let me see myself. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I do traditionally gravitate towards big neck guitars. I'm tying myself up here needlessly.
Yeah.
But when you've sat and played the 60s profile for a period of time, like I just have, and then you do go over to the 50s, you do sort of go,
there is definitely
a little bit more chunk here. I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, no, I prefer the fatter one.
I think it will literally, you'll know, Mr. Customer, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, what kind of guitars you like. If you like sort of more modern Fenders and things like that, you're going to like the thinner neck ones better, I suspect. And if you like your sort of more vintagey guitars. I don't think there's much else to tell you.
I don't think so. This is. You're
going to go 50s, are you?
You can definitely feel there's a difference.
Look at the flame on that bad boy.
That is flamey. Flamey Jehoshaphat.
You've still got, again, don't want to end on a negative or anything like that, but, the Gibson guitar, the Les Paul, this kind of the headstock angle, the way the strings come up through the nut and then sort of the D and the G string kind of dive off left and right here to get to the tuners. All those kind of things, give the Les Paul sort of some characteristics. You've got to make sure that your nut is well cut, well lubed. You can buy things called nut sauce to lube that up. And you've just got to, that is just what it's like owning a Les Paul. You'll periodically be going with your G string.
I'm holding all of the innuendos back so hard. I'm trying so hard.
And of course, the wonderful people at Gibson did not design this guitar to fall over. So if it's going to fall over that way, it's going to land and doing and snappity-doo.
What happened to the, they put a taint on the back there, the volute.
The volute.
Yeah.
Well, that was only, I think, on the Modern, wasn't it?
Which I thought was a great idea, and I thought it looked cool.
Hey, but it's not authentic. So really now, 50s or 60s, P90s or humbuckers?
I like the 50s.
You like the 50s with the humbuckers or the 50s with the P90s?
I haven't tried this. No, yes, I have. See, it's a completely different guitar, the P90 one. It changes completely. I think it would be great to actually try it with a wraparound tailpiece.
Well, that you've got to go custom shop for and go.
Yeah, and that's what 54. I mean. Yeah, so it's a bit more. I don't know. The 50s definitely feels to me like there's a little bit more when I do this. It's very nice.
Well, you think you're literally getting more?
I think because of the more neck. And we haven't talked tenon, we haven't talked neck joints, so and we're not sure.
Yeah, we're not sure.
We're not sure what the neck joints are. They are periodically correct. We hope so, right? See? Yeah, there's more than 50s.
Is that just a coincidence?
No, it's not. It's because there's more wood. The neck is fatter. It just gives more sense. If it was
I haven't tuned this one, but yeah, that's...
See, that it seems like... It is like my Martin OM28V, which got a massive chunky V-neck on it. There's just so much sound coming out of that thing. Because then there's so much more neck, which means there's so much more wood to wood contact.
Wood to wood contact?
Wood to wood contact!
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
It sounds like a dodgy movie. Oh, it's so annoying. You've planted this seed in my head now that there is some extra lower end resonance on the one with the bigger. It sounds. It's just.
I'm sure. I mean, come and check them out because these will be hanging on the wall in Anderton's shop right now. If they're not gone, come down and check them out.
This is like
in or out.
This guitar. Any Les Paul is like one of those Snapchat filters that just makes you look cooler. It's what it does. You get this guitar, and you just look cool.
You just look cool.
the end. I think we've covered everything.
Yes.
As I said before, we'll do a bucket load of these videos. We'll probably try and make them a bit less wordy and a bit more just focused in on what the actual guitars are.
Yeah. I think they're great. Good. Well done, Gibson.
Yes, thank you.
Well done to everyone at Gibson for doing this.
Yeah. It's good, and you know, it's going to be nice going on to Gibson forums and them not being some sort of cesspit of
But
hate.
let's see if
Well, yeah,
people
they might
actually
still be.
now Gibson gives people what they want. Will people be happy, Lee? What do you think?
No, people are never happy, are they? They should be happy. So, like, come on, jam out.
On
Pete.
that note, thank you very much for watching.